I want to begin by first offering my condolences to the families of both Joe Ramirez and Austin Metcalf. Regardless of what anybody thinks or feels right now, these two families have lost sons. And if it was you, you would certainly be grieving and mourning the loss of your son. It wouldn't be made into this political spectacle of what's taking place at this time. So again, to both of those families, I'd first like to offer my condolences to both of you, because there's nothing like going through the heartache of the loss of a loved one. Next, let's go to scripture. Let's pick this up in Leviticus chapter 19, verse 15, where you see it reads, "You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor." Next, we go to Exodus chapter 12, verse 49. And these are the laws and the commandments that the Most High had given the children of Israel when they were to set up their kingdom. But also, you know what I mean, what he had told the children of Israel, you know, the nations are supposed to come to you and you're supposed to give them the law so they can set up their kingdoms, right? So verse 49, it says, "One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you." Numbers 15 and 29, and it reads, "You shall have one law for him that sinneth through ignorance, both for him that is born among the children of Israel, and for the stranger that sojourneth among them." John 7 and 24, and this is Jesus, Yahweh Shai speaking. "Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment." And this next scripture that I want to give is based off of what this video primarily is about. Luke 12 and 1, Jesus again is speaking and teaching, and he says, "In the meantime, when there were gathered together an innumerable multitude of people, insomuch that they trode one upon another, he began to say unto his disciples, first of all, Beware you of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy." All right, all praise to our Heavenly Father, the Most High Yah, the great I am that I am. In the name of our Lord and Savior, some of y'all say Jesus, some say Yahweh Shai, some of y'all say Yahusha. All right, in this video, you know, I'm going to discuss and I'm going to, you know, show clips of what's going on with the Karmelo Anthony case, as well as the Caysen Allison case, right? The one thing that, you know, this video, the whole intention is to point out is an underlying problem, core problem that's founded in this country. And that's the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. And it runs rampant throughout, you know, both Black America and white America. And what we have right now that's going on, the media is going to gaslight all this. And even in this video, you can see how the media, you know, starts gaslighting all these things. Starting with this first video that I'm going to show you. This is part of the reason why I wasn't even going to touch this subject, because when I first saw this first video I'm going to show you, it disgusted me. Because you had two grown men sitting up here debating when there's a loss of life, and they're sitting here trying to fan the flames of racism, right? So let me show y'all the video.
It's time for today's face-off on Fox Soul. Challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams, ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face-off on Fox Soul starts right now.
And he did it in self-defense.
New documents detail what happened before and after 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony allegedly pulled a knife from his backpack and stabbed him. Fox 4's Alex Boyer joining us now live with the latest. Alex.
Hey guys, and in that 7-page arrest warrant affidavit, several witnesses, including Metcalf's twin brother, describe how that deadly encounter went down. The suspect then reportedly admitted to a Frisco police officer who detained him that he had stabbed Metcalf.
My son is gone, and I don't really have words. I've tried to figure out what I was going to say, but He's just going to be so missed.
The pain is still raw for the Metcalf family after 17-year-old Austin Metcalf was killed on Wednesday morning at a UIL District 11-5A track meet in Frisco. Here's what happened according to witnesses and the police report. Metcalf got into an argument with the suspect, 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony, over a seating dispute in the bleachers. Metcalf told Anthony he needed to move from under the team's tent.
He always was one to step up and be the person that would do the right thing. And he was doing the right thing by saying to this gentleman that you're not supposed to be in this tent. This is because they have personal items there.
Anthony opened his bag and reached inside and said to Metcalf, "Touch me and see what happens." Metcalf reportedly grabbed Anthony and told him to move.
He knew he wasn't supposed to be there. It's just a tragedy what happened.
That's when Anthony pulled out a black knife and stabbed Metcalf in the chest once before running away. When Anthony was taken into custody.
This round, here's Quanell X.
Charles, we just watched a segment here discussing the tragic loss of life of a young high school student in Frisco, Texas at a track meet. And watching that newscast, it upsets me because that newscast is full of damn lies. This is a tragic situation where a young man lost his life, yes. But young Karmelo Anthony, in this case, the young man who's been charged with murder, he did not assault anyone in the beginning. He didn't start this fight. The young man approached him with his brother, threatening Karmelo to move out of a spot that was not assigned to anybody. Where Karmelo was sitting, he had a right to be sitting. There was no assigned seating anywhere in the stadium that excluded students from sitting in certain areas. Then when they went to Karmelo, he was threatened by both brothers. And he told them, "Don't put your hands on me." And they threatened to put their hands on him. And he told them, "If you put your hands on me, watch what happens." The white kid, in this case, punched Karmelo in the face. He didn't push him, he punched him in the face. And then that young man defended himself, and unfortunately, a young student lost his life. But Charles, in the state of Texas, you have a right to stand your ground, and if you are the victim of a vicious attack, you can use deadly force if necessary to protect yourself and your life, to stop you from becoming a further victim of an assault or a crime. Why is this young man in jail when he didn't start it? He didn't approach anyone. They approached him. They used profane language toward him. They threatened him and then assaulted him, and he defended himself. Why is he in jail? He's defended himself from a vicious attack and assault. So this young man, in my opinion, should not be in jail. Teach your children. Keep your hands to yourself. That's what needs to be taught here. And to tell this young brother to give up your seat, give me your seat, this ain't no damn Rosa Parks era. You just can't go to a young black man and say, give up your seat. He had a right to sit there. And so that brother had his back of the bus moment and refused to give up his seat, and it cost that young white kid his life.
All right, so you see, you hear the name Quanell X, what does that make you think? Nation of Islam, Black Panther Party, some black militant group, right? But when he states his case, it's everything that black people will say. And this comes from 400 years of oppression, right? Y'all say the law, self-defense. Guy was aggressive with the black guy reacted, whatever. Now all of a sudden, self-defense laws goes out the window, right? So he gives the black position. What all the blacks is gonna do, yeah, that's right. Next, we get the white position, white America position. This is what I'm trying to show y'all. They tell you what to think. Let me show you the next clip.
I rarely say this, Quanell. I sometimes internalize it, but shame on you. How absolutely despicable for you to sit here and try to draw this false equivalency between Rosa Parks and this scumbag murderer, right? Shame on you for living a life defined by make-believe racial grievance that you seek a pulpit to lie to people. And let's talk about those lies. Even if you assume everything that is coming out of the Karmelo Anthony camp, even if you assume all of that is true, under the laws of the state of Texas, he is still absolutely guilty of murder, period. Like, you can assume all the fabrications are true. It's still murder, right? You do not have a right to use deadly force in response to a shove or a punch. Now, mind you, all the witness statements are saying it was a shove that was goaded, but let's assume everyone's lying and this murderer is telling the truth. You still can't, because the scenario, what you're advocating for, and pulling Rosa Parks into, is that every time someone walks through a club and someone shoves them or bumps them, you can pull out a knife and stab them in the heart and kill them. And I have no doubt that more is going to come out of Karmelo Anthony, that more evidence. Now, there are rumors that I don't want to regurgitate.
Oh, please do.
No.
Please do.
Let's talk about what has been sold. That you sent me this weekend when we were discussing it. You sent me the statement by the police chief that turned out to be just fabricated. Somebody out there making believe the FBI is now involved, right? And that people are regurgitating all over social media. And it's all driven on racial lines. You are the one that was calling for Daniel Penny to go to prison for life. Now, mind you, we have this new spectacular game in America, right, where we play white man always bad and evil, black man always good, no matter what happens. The truth is, my feelings on this, if it was a white young man who brought a knife to school, went to someone else's tent, started being a jackleg, refused to move out, and then pulled out a knife and jabbed it in someone's heart, I would call him a murderer. And if a white kid did exactly what Karmelo Anthony did to a black kid, you would be out here marching in the streets.
Oh, no, I would not be.
People would be burning your life.
George Zimmerman went to Trayvon Martin and put his hands on that kid who was doing nothing wrong. And you same white folks found George Zimmerman not guilty of murder when Trayvon was defending himself. Right here in Texas, you've had many cases where white men have been assaulted by black men. They use deadly force and they're not charged.
Why are you talking about something else?
You cannot tell me.
Why are you lying about my position, you despicable, shameless liar?
He was assaulted.
All right, so next you hear Big Angry Adams, the angry, fed up white man, right? Now he states, white America's position. That kid didn't have no business up underneath that tent. You know what I'm saying? And when these two young, honorable white men walked up on him and asked him to move, you know what I'm saying? He got violent and he went and got his knife and stabbed that poor kid, right? And he tells you, see, y'all are being hypocrites because y'all know if that would have been a black guy who got stabbed by a white guy, y'all would be out here marching in the streets, right? So you're tapping into all of the hidden anger, you know what I'm saying, of white America. Oh, and then he also says, all the white, you know what I'm saying, America, you know what I'm saying, we're always considered bad. Y'all always the victims, you know what I'm saying? So it's always us. But why do they feel that way? Because of what slavery, right? Everybody knows it. You see what I'm saying? But you see how the media did a show. That's why I said I found it disgusting. They did a show, Face Off. The white man, Big Adams, he said, oh, yeah, you and I, we talked about this. So y'all talked about it off camera. Had your little talking points, knew what y'all were going to say. You're going to take one side, you're going to take the other side, just like professional wrestling, right? I'm going to say one thing. Oh, I can't stand you and meet me in the Coliseum and I'm going to knock you out. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Mean Gene, I wish he would try to knock me out. I'll be waiting on him and I'll be waiting. And so this is all they were doing, right? Playing this up. But you see, because it was black, white, when I saw it, I said, you know what? This is going to be the next OJ. They're shaping this thing up to be the next OJ Simpson. And it's sad because, the young white teenager lost his life. The young black teenager, you see what I'm saying? His life and his future in this country is pretty much over. You know what I'm saying? He does get off. People are going to do him just like they did OJ the rest of their life. But these people that run the media, and we know who runs the media, the ish people, right? They are going to play this up to continue to keep black and white America divided, right? But all of that mentioned, now this is the reason why I decided to do this video. because of all of that mention about what happened and all this stuff I was seeing on the internet. Well, lo and behold, in the same state, a couple of hours away, there's a case that's active now, and it's pretty much the exact same thing, except it was two different nationalities and the roles were reversed. And nobody said nothing about this until recently. Check it out.
Part of the highly anticipated trial for Caysen Allison, who is charged with murder in the stabbing of Joe Ramirez at Belton High School back in May of 2022.
News 10's Isabella Quintanilla was in the courtroom all day today. She joins us now outside the Bell County Justice Center with more from the first day of the trial. Isabella.
Yes, that's right, Lauren and Gordon. The 156th District Court was packed today with families, friends, witnesses, and others, all who have been waiting nearly 3 years to learn the fate of now 21-year-old Caysen Allison. We first heard from the state prosecutors who are charging Caysen Allison with murder, saying he was intentionally cutting and stabbing Joe Ramirez, to which Allison pleaded not guilty. His defense attorneys then gave their opening statement implying it was self-defense. Defense attorney Zachary Boyd told the jury, quote, Caysen was in the fight for his life, where he was jumped by 5 friends, end quote. We heard from 5 state witnesses today, including a 911 record custodian, the Belton ISD Director of Safety and Security, 2 teachers who saw the aftermath of the stabbing, and the school nurse. At the start of the trial, they played 5 911 calls from 2 staff members, 2 students, and a parent. In one of those calls, a girl identified Caysen, claiming she saw him running through the parking lot with a bloody nose. They then played security footage from several cameras showing Joe and 3 others walking into a bathroom, Caysen and another boy walking in shortly after. 5 boys, including Joe, then ran out of the bathroom and split up, with Caysen once again running out shortly after. We also saw footage of Joe running down the main hallway, bleeding onto the floor and then collapsing. Blood immediately began to pool as teachers and staff quickly surrounded him. Many of Joe's family and friends were in tears as they watched this all play out. One witness, the first to get to Joe, said, quote, his breathing was rapid and shallow. It appeared to me as if he had a punctured lung. Another witness, the school nurse, said they gasped when they cut open Joe's shirt, finding a gaping wound across his left chest. She also shared that a student that had been in the bathroom was brought to the nurse's office and was on the phone with his mom saying, quote, Caysen stabbed Joe.
So you see, there's another case that's actively going on right now, right? They're in break for the weekend, and I'm shooting this, you know what I'm saying, over the weekend. But this case is actively going. It just started, you know what I mean, last week, the week of April the 15th, okay? But anyway, I'm going to go to YouTube and I want to show you the coverage of how much attention, media attention, this case has been getting. So when we type in Caysen Allison, right, as you can see, you see 14,000 views from KWTX News TV, right? Then you see KCN News, 497 views 2 days ago. Day 2 up here, 3.5 1,000 views. You got 3 days ago, 536 views. You got 5 days ago when the murder trial began, only 790 views, right? 25 News, right? In Texas, 1.3 thousand views. 957 views, KWTX, right? Now, when people finally found out about it, you see the Taylor House Publishing, 23,000. Introvert Rockstar Video, 53,000. Karmelo Anthony, 22,000 video by the Star Report. Because everybody is jumping on it now and bringing it to the light. But you think about it. Where are your Nancy Graces and all these type of things? Look at this, 3.5 thousand views, 536 views. The family of Joe Ramirez reacts 1 year after the murder, 874 views is all it got. 4.2 thousand views, 501 views 2 years ago, right? Balloon visual for Joe Ramirez, 345 views, right? They were quiet about Caysen Allison, 1.9 views. So that's somebody that's never putting this stuff out. But you don't see any Fox News, Fox, you know what I mean? Face Off, Fox Soul. You don't see any of that stuff. right? No major media coverage whatsoever. You see? Why? It's basically the same thing, except the roles are somewhat flipped. There's a Hispanic young man who was in school who got stabbed multiple times by a white teenager, right? They had gotten into some fights over some girls, something like that. Y'all gonna hear the rest of it in the rest of this video. But he got into the fight, he stabbed the kid. So this kid had a knife on school property. Same thing they're saying about Karmelo Anthony. But this kid had a knife. The Ramirez kid went into the bathroom first. So this guy went into the bathroom after Ramirez, and they supposedly was agreeing to meet up and have a fight. But he went in there knowing that he had a knife on him, right? Stabbed the kid right in school. Kid dies. You see what I'm saying? No coverage whatsoever. This thing happened where it's black, white, boom, and the media takes off and puts it out there. Speaking of the media, let me show you what Nancy Grace had to say with Karmelo Anthony, but she's not saying anything about the Caysen Allison case, which is going on right now, right? Karmelo Anthony's case ain't even coming up yet. It'll be a couple years right now. But this case is going on right now. But listen to what she had to say.
Breaking news tonight, the Texas track star stabber walks free. Walks free after a brutal stabbing of a football star. This as the victim's family is attacked. The victim's mother's home swatted. This as we learn the killer's family is set to buy a new house with donations. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us.
So y'all heard that, right? She says that the mother of the victim, you know what I'm saying, home is being swatted and everything else. But the accused murderer, the teenage killer, right, stabber, you know what I'm saying, his family took the money from donations and bought them a brand new home, right? Before we make this thing that is only, you know what I'm saying, white Americans that put that story out there, you got prominent YouTubers that went and put that exact same story out here. You know what I'm saying? One YouTuber who now says he's no longer a black Hebrew Israelite. Let me show you his clip and what he said.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Ringo TV Reactions. I'm your host, Ringo. Welcome to the show. You know, another day in the world of madness. Teen killer Karmelo Anthony family uses fundraiser money to get a new house and a couple of cars. It's amazing to me that with all the work that I've done regarding this case, I'm the most hated. Did y'all know that? With all the commentary that I shared about this case, you got platforms out here that got millions of subscribers and they get hundreds of thousands of views. But the black community is not concerned about those platforms. They're concerned about Ringo. You know why? Because Ringo makes the most sense. I don't even get no views when it comes to this issue. I don't even get views. But I'm the most hated. You have to do the math and you have to realize if I don't get no views regarding this case, but yet other channels get hundreds of thousands of views every time they talk about Karmelo Anthony, why am I such a threat? It's because I'm making the most sense. Now, Karmelo's family basically claimed they had cash problems, but yet they were living in an expensive Richwoods gated neighborhood. This is where the money goes. And the public need to know this because, again, a lot of black folk, we are really a sad race of people. And you could continue to hate me. I really don't care. The hate is the hate, and it is what it is. I'm going to continue to stand firm no matter how much opposition I get because you folks are not stronger than me. Your hate can't override the truth. You guys raised for this animal almost $500,000, and it's being used to buy cars, houses, so that he could live good while on house arrest. This is how the black community embrace killers. But I'm the bad guy for standing on truth. You even have Bible believers that are siding with killers. And it's sick, man. Our people are an embarrassment, man, to society. And look, I know the black community don't like me.
So you see, right? What did you hear in the first clip? And I played you 3 clips from the media, right? The big angry, whatever his name was, he said he's a scumbag killer, scumbag murderer, or whatever he said. Nancy Grace, track star killer, right? But it was our own who called that young man an animal. An animal, right? And then said, you know what I'm saying? Agreed with what the media was saying is that these people, he not only did he do that, he put up where they lived, right? Their gated community. Oh, they bought this new house. They ran with the narrative. They got this money from the GoFundMe or whatever funding thing they got it from. Oh, they got the money from there and they went and bought brand new house and brand new cars, right? It's the narrative that they put out there. But let's hear what the family had to say about that.
Good afternoon. My name is Kayla Hayes. I am the mother of Karmelo Anthony. 3 years ago, my family moved to North Texas searching for a better life. Like so many other families, we wanted to give our children the future we did not have. My husband worked hard every single day to provide for us, to make sure we're in the best financial position possible. As a stay-at-home mom, I made it my life's mission to ensure our children are loved, nurtured, and supported every step of the way. In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Karmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false accusations that have been said about us, especially over the past week, has been overwhelming. The lies and their amplification put my family in danger, as well as everyone in our community, everyone involved in the investigation, from the police, the attorneys, and the court staff. Our address and my husband's previous employer's address has been put on all social media platforms. My husband had to take a leave of absence because he's afraid what may happen to our family. His mental health is deteriorating day by day. We have endured death threats. My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she's fearful of what may happen to her. And let me be clear, the claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false. We have not received a single dime from the Give, Send, Go fundraiser. And the co-founder has stated that clearly. In the reality, we were just notified yesterday that we could begin to withdraw funds. and it still takes several days to receive those funds once a request is made. I don't know why we are being targeted and discriminated against before a fair trial. Our son deserves the same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to. He's been raised in a 2-parent home with structure, stability, love, and we put God first in everything that we do. We believe in the Constitution, we believe in the laws of this state, but those laws must apply to all of us, not just some of us. To be clear, we will not speak publicly about specific details of what happened under the tent on that rainy and awful day. There's an active investigation that everyone involved wants to be full and fair. We believe in legal process, and that is where the truth will come out. To the family who experienced the loss, my heart truly goes out to you. To those who have supported my family, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We ask for your continued support, patience, and prayers as we navigate this difficult process. Thank you.
So you see, according to the mother, it was a lie. According to the mother, they have not received any of that money. These people had already lived in that community. And now, you know what I'm saying? Because of all the things that are out on the internet, people trying this case on the internet, you know, but this other case, nobody's saying nothing about it, and it's in trial. This case, everybody's got an opinion, even our own. And they're running around here, put those people's address and stuff all on the line to the point these people are afraid for their lives, right? And yet, you know what I'm saying? People in this country don't see anything wrong with it. Why can't anybody let the justice system play out in this situation? Why are they trying this case in the media? See, this reminds me of everything I saw what happened with the O.J. Simpson case, right? And you know what I'm saying? But this is what it is to be an Israelite in America. You got people that are running around here and start, you know what I mean, judging things and saying things, and they don't even know what they're talking about. But now let's go to scripture because I want to show y'all something. 1 John 3:4, and it reads, whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. Exodus chapter 20, verses 13 through 16, and it reads, thou shalt not kill. So we know the 10 commandments. This is the law. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. And thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. So people can run around here and saying that Karmelo Anthony is guilty of breaking the 13, you know, verse 13, thou shalt not kill. But when y'all put that lie out there and said that those people were taking money and they wasn't, you're guilty of breaking the law and you're a sinner too. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. You bear false witness on those people. And because you did, you got these people that are angry mobs that's ready to threaten these people's lives because of your lies. Romans chapter 2, verse 1, and it reads, therefore thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art that judges. For wherein thou judgest another, thou condemnest thyself. For thou that judgest doest the same things. James chapter 2, verse 10 through 11, and it reads, for whosoever shall keep the whole law and yet offend in one point. So let's say the 10 commandments, for example. You keep 9 out of 10 things. The Most High said you got to keep all his law. So this is what he says, for whosoever shall keep the whole law and yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all. For he that said, do not commit adultery, said also do not kill, right? And we just read. He that said, do not kill, also said, do not bear false witness against thy neighbor, right? Now, if thou commit no adultery, so if you don't kill, yet if thou kill, but yet if thou bear false witness against thy neighbor, thou art become a transgressor of the law. So you see how that works?
Accused teen killer Anthony Karmelo pleads with a Texas judge for a lower bond on the basis of his age and lack of criminal record, despite allegedly stabbing to death a fellow student at a track meet. The judge meets his demands.
What? Okay, if we have the facts correct, the suspect stabbed an unarmed teen boy. But yet I'm hearing that the suspect has walked free. I am also learning that it was urged in court that the suspect has no criminal history. He's a juvenile. Listen to this.
Anthony's father was questioned about an incident involving his son that happened at Karmelo's high school in February. The Daily Mail refers to the incident as an altercation assault, but as the situation was handled internally by the Frisco Independent School District, it is unclear if Anthony was the aggressor or merely a witness to the incident, or even what type of incident occurred.
And his brother was holding him, trying to hold the blood in, and he passed. My son watched his brother die in his arms.
That from our friends at Fox 4 Dallas Fort Worth News.
So you see what she did, right? She went in and she showed a picture of Karmelo where he looks like he's an athlete, shows his height. And then they got a picture of, the other boy where he's younger, right? Made it look like Karmelo was a bigger kid, you know what I'm saying, that stabbed this other kid when Karmelo is actually way smaller than him. But anyway, but then they brought up, they saying that he had no violent history. And they brought up this case, this accusation, when Karmelo was in high school. And it said, his father was questioned, but it was unclear if Karmelo was the one who was assaulted somebody or if he was just a witness to the altercation.
The Daily Mail refers to the incident as an altercation assault, but as the situation was handled internally by the Frisco Independent School District, it is unclear if Anthony was the aggressor or merely a witness to the incident, or even what type of incident occurred.
All right, so you heard it for yourself this time, right? You see how this is the stuff that the media does. This is how they build narratives and paint narratives. So why are you being deceptive, Nancy Grace? Why are you already trying to paint this picture? Why are you trying to make it look like all of a sudden this boy got out? You see what I'm saying? Oh, they're giving him special favor and letting him out. You know what I'm saying? When that's exactly the same thing that would happen with Caysen Allison. Matter of fact, let me show you.
You telling me no racist people speaking on this case, but have the audacity to speak about Karmelo Anthony, have the audacity to speak about Karmelo Anthony's family, have the audacity to speak on Karmelo's case, make it make sense. This Mexican kid won a fair fight and he ended up murdered. Now, does that sound familiar? But I tell y'all all the time, when racist Caucasian people murder, it's no outrage. They sleep well. But when those tables are turned, aka Karmelo Anthony, they can't handle it. They got to gaslight us. No, we ain't going for it, partner. This Allison case is so similar to the Karmelo Anthony case, and how ironic that Belton, Texas is only 2 hours away from Frisco, Texas. And as a truck driver, if you know, you know. And y'all know me, I had to do the race demographics in Belton, Texas, and I found this: 56.7% Caucasian people, 8.5% Hispanic people. So that told me everything I need to know. And I need y'all to remember those numbers, because in this article, it's going to play a major part. And this article is by people.com. It was published April 16, 2025 at 12:14 p.m. yesterday. A high school fight ended when one boy stabbed to death and the other charged with murder. That trial is now underway. Caysen Allison, now 21, confessed to unaliving Joe Ramirez Jr., 18, during a fight in the boys' bathroom at Belton High School back on May 3rd, 2022, according to an arrest affidavit obtained by People. So you telling me this case took 3 years to start? 3 years, no outrage from racist people, or 3 years to come up with their lies, 3 years to get their lies together. Make it make sense. Allison's lawyer, Zachary Boyd, said in his opening statement that the 18-year-old at the time acted in self-defense after finding himself forced to fight Ramirez and a group of his friends. Allison, who has been on house arrest ever since posting $175,000 bail back in July 2022, is facing anywhere between 5 and 99 years in prison if convicted.
New news tonight, the 18-year-old accused of stabbing and killing a Belton High classmate is no longer in the Bell County Jail as of 2:30 this afternoon. That's according to online jail records. Major TJ Cruz with the Bell County Sheriff's Department tells 6 News Allison must wear an ankle monitor as a condition of his release. Back in May, Caysen Allison was charged for the murder of Joe Ramirez Jr. And in June, a Bell County grand jury indicted Allison for murder. 2 days ago, a judge reduced Allison's $1 million bond to $175,000, and he is out of jail.
And joining us on The Factor Uncensored, we have with us former prosecutor and criminal defense attorney Bayoji Akingbala. And what we're seeing now is a reduction in the bond of Karmelo Anthony and the killing of Austin Metcalf in a community just north of Houston. And it's been a major controversy. People have taken sides, black versus white. Just strange and very sad that it has come down to this. But there was a reduction in his bond, Karmelo Anthony, the 17-year-old black kid accused of killing the 17-year-old white kid. Tell us what the bond has gone from and to and your thoughts about it.
Yeah, the bond was reduced from $1 million to $250,000. And given the circumstances of that case, it's definitely an appropriate reduction. For an individual as young as Mr. Anthony is, 17, my understanding is no substantial or, if any, prior criminal history. He certainly has significant ties to the community. That being said, he doesn't show himself to be a flight risk. He should be able to make his court appearances. On top of that, they have to demonstrate, given the lack of history, that he's not going to be a continuing harm to the community. Those are all of the factors that the court is to consider. What it shouldn't consider or presume is his guilt. And so when you look at a bond amount as high as $1 million, it almost presumes him to be guilty. And certainly we've heard through various outlets that there is a self-defense claim that's being raised, and he's entitled to raise that defense. And so while he's raising that defense, the court needs to give him an opportunity to be able to bond out, which will make it a lot more better for him in terms of preparing for his upcoming trial.
All right, so y'all see, blatant hypocrisy. The blatantly hypocrisy and the irony of this whole situation is ridiculous, right? This judge, did the exact same thing, set the same precedent that the previous judge did, right? That judge reduced it from $1 million to $175,000 for Caysen Allison. This judge said it went from $1 million to $250,000 for Karmelo Anthony. And yet these people were crying and complaining about it and acting like she did something so bad, right? Right? Matter of fact, let me show you how the public reacted to her, lowering the bond, which is the exact same thing that the other judge did for the other kid.
For Hype Plus News, I'm Symphony Thompson. Angela Tucker, the Texas judge who reduced the bond for 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony, is hiring more security after reducing Anthony's bail from $1 million to $250,000 and receiving death threats because of it. Tucker's decision to reduce the bail was based on Anthony's age, lack of criminal history, and reputation within the community. Now, of course, the decision to reduce bail was met with a mixed response, as the incident between Anthony and Metcalf seems to have turned into a race issue thanks to social media as well as mainstream news. The social media outcry for Anthony's release has led to many white social media users to hurl insults and threats towards the judge's way. As a result, Tucker has changed her X account from public to private. Since her decision, Tucker has received racist threats and attacks from Metcalf supporters, with some social media accounts posting her picture and information, as this incident has divided the local community and nation. According to TMZ, the county sheriff's office said court staff and concerned citizens have reported threatening remarks made against the judge and is looking for any party who has released private and personal information about the judge to the public, including her address and phone number. Investigators are also still looking to identify the persons who made threats against Tucker, stating, if the individual responsible is identified, potential charges could include unlawful disclosure of residents' address or telephone number and obstruction or retaliation. Now that he's received bail, Anthony currently awaits trial on house arrest for Austin Metcalf's murder.
So you see, these people don't respect law and order. They're going after a judge. The judge got to have security, right? You know what I mean? They making death threats towards the judge. Now, did anybody make death threats towards the white judge who lowered, you know what I'm saying? Who lowered the bond for Caysen Allison? You know what I mean? It's the exact same thing, the hypocrisy of it all. It just screams. And what is the one thing that, you know what I mean, Christianity and Christians are accused of in America? You know what I'm saying? I don't care if they're black or white. First thing, they always get accused of is the very thing that Jesus said not to be, time and time again. Beware of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy, right? Don't be a hypocrite, right? And it ain't just white people, it's black Christians too. You see what I'm saying? Exact same thing. Matter of fact, let's pull up Karmelo Anthony case, because I showed y'all the coverage that was on the Caysen Allison, early on. Let me show you the numbers on the Karmelo Anthony case, and then you're going to see, you know what I mean? You get these Negroes that want to make a sting off of this. That's why Ringo was crying. He wants to make a lick off of this, and he can see how many views that this thing is getting. Let's go and let me show you. So there you go. You got Karmelo Anthony. All right, just type it in Google. What do I get? Roland Martin, 167,000, right? 88,000. Track best law and crime. I think that's Nancy Grace and them. Track meet murder suspect now living in mansion, 88,000. That's the ones who put out that stuff about him living in a mansion. You see, they got houses and everything up there. Nasty truth about the Karmelo Anthony case, 12,000. I stand with Karmelo Anthony, 27,000, right? Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf stabbing, 83,000, right? Karmelo Anthony spokesman, 220,000. This case is getting ugly, 277,000, right? Look at all the attention. Eyewitnesses reveal Karmelo Anthony, 48,000. Right? Full Karmelo Anthony's mother speak to the media, 63,000, right? Karmelo Anthony's situation, 690,000. You know what I mean? 114,000. Protect white Americans. Organizers calls for Austin Metcalf's father week, right? 10,000, right? Track meet stabbing suspect released from jail, 94,000. That's Nancy Grace and them, Modern Crime Network, right? Then we get down here, you see inside the hearing, a reporter's debrief. So the hearing ain't even started. You see what I'm saying? They can look like it's gone to trial already, but this Caysen Allison is already in trial, right? 37,000. You see what I'm saying? Karmelo Anthony's family's bizarre presser, right? Megyn Kelly, 472,000, right? But they ain't saying nothing about Caysen Allison. And then when we get down here, you even get the black, right? It's BLM all over again. Karmelo Anthony family exposed after allegedly buying house, luxury car with donation funds. Officer Tatum, 812,000 views, right? Right? So you see, he got 812,000 views on the one, but now you see there's another video he got, right? So he was already wrong about, you know what I mean, them buying houses with the money, but then you got another video out, 221,000, where you said the judge is wrong for this. How? She did the exact same thing to the white judge, and you ain't got never video on there about the Caysen Allison case. Never video, none. You see what I'm saying?
Man, if a white kid went up on the black tent and they told him to leave and the white boy stabbed and killed a black kid, our God is my witness, nobody would be supporting that white kid. But only colored people of the melanin will support a person who committed a crime and killed another person.
What if I were to tell you that you are an African American?
Sir, listen, I'm gonna make this clear. I'm in no way, shape, or form involved in any negative. You understand?
Yes, sir, but...
But nothing. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a book signing to go to. Why don't you bring your media cameras over there if you want to see some real truth? I can't understand you. Go back to your country, white power.
So you see, again, you know, we got bigger problems than just white people. It's blacks too, right? These crayons is a problem, you know, because... You know, you can call yourself a Christian all you want to, but what did Christ tell you? Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. But you see, a lot of people don't want to judge no righteous judgment, right? They don't want to look at a court that's similar to the case and draw a precedent off of that and then see whether or not, okay, everything that this has been done in this case here is being done in this case here, right? There's precedent set. Now, if they let Caysen Allison off, he stabbed that boy 4 times, right? You let him off, what are you going to say about Karmelo Anthony, right? Now, if Caysen Allison, y'all put him in jail, all right, you put Karmelo Anthony in jail, right? But for people to sit up here and be hypocrites about this is ridiculous. You see what I'm saying? What you see, the hypocrisy that is in Americans, right? It's deep rooted, right? And it's all along the lines of race. Whether it's you're going to be biased or whether you double biased, which means you double biased, you be biased against your own people, like some of these, you know what I mean? These coons of the world, right? So this is what we got going on here. But now let's go back and show you some more of the details of the Caysen Allison case, and then we'll wrap up.
Want to fight. That's what two former Belton High students said about Caysen Allison in court today.
The trial of the suspect accused of stabbing and killing Joe Ramirez resumed this morning in Bell County, bringing 4 new witnesses to the stand.
News 10's Madison Herber has been in court all day and joins us live now with more on what was uncovered. Madison.
Good evening, Lauren and Gordon. The witnesses included 2 people who were former students that were in the bathroom the day that fight broke out, Tito Shamel and Angel Murillo. Shamel explained to the court that he was a good friend of Joe Ramirez and was in the bathroom with Ramirez and Allison when chaos ensued, and he even caught a portion of that altercation on video, which was shared today with the jury. And there was also a Belton Police Department detective who revealed the crime scene photos from that day. And then there was also a friend of Allison's and an acquaintance of Ramirez, Raina Barber. She took the stand and explained to the court how she was trying to calm Ramirez down just moments before the fight broke out. Now, the photos from the crime scene followed a trail of blood droplets around part of the school, leading to a pool of blood where Ramirez collapsed. The detective explained that it was after getting photos of the scene, he talked to a witness who provided a statement and video of the fight that started in the bathroom. Video was replayed from yesterday showing the school hallway where you see the boys entering the bathroom and then leaving sometime later in a rush. And then the short video caught on Shamel's phone of what happened on the other side of the door was played. Shamel explaining that what he caught on video shows Ramirez taking the first swing at Allison, and then you see Allison pull out the knife before a loud scream is heard and the video cuts off. Barber said Allison didn't want to fight and just wanted to make it to graduation, and Shamel said in the moment it didn't look like Allison wanted to fight. Barber also said that Ramirez and his friends were known to fight, and Shamel saying Ramirez liked having his fights recorded, and that this fight was planned but no one expected it to happen on school grounds. Barber said it wasn't normal for Allison to have a knife on him, but she knew he had one because Allison told her he got one for protection. An altercation was described by former students that an argument broke out at a prom after party, and it was likely that Ramirez and Allison verbally fought over a girl. Shamel told the court that Ramirez looked surprised to see Allison in the bathroom that day, and you could feel the tension between the two. Barber is seen talking to Ramirez on the hallway security footage, visibly upset. She started to cry as she explained to the court that she was trying to tell Ramirez that the fight isn't worth it because they are about to graduate.
The brother of Joe Ramirez returned to the stand today in the murder trial against Caysen Allison.
Allison is accused of stabbing and killing Joe Ramirez in a Belton High bathroom in 2022. 6 News reporter Sydney Walker has been in court all week. Sydney, what did you learn today?
Ramirez's brother returned to the stand today along with 2 others. Emotions ran high today, with one member in the gallery removed from the gallery after he yelled out at the defense, calling him ignorant, and was escorted out of the courtroom. Ramirez's brother, plus a medical examiner and a close friend of Caysen, were on the stand today. Today we learned Joe Ramirez had been previously arrested for assault when he was 18 and the victim was 17. He was brought to tears. Ramirez's brother was brought to tears when videos from that day were shown to him. The defense also asked if Ramirez was, quote, mad that Caysen fought back, to which he replied, "I'm mad that he killed my brother." Next up was a medical examiner who oversaw Ramirez's autopsy. He shared that their examination found 4 separate stab wounds on Ramirez's body. The examiner said that the cause of death was stabbing, with homicide as the matter of death. We learned there was 1 large stab wound across Ramirez's chest, which caused multiple injuries to both the heart itself and the left lung, as well as 2 stab wounds on his buttocks and a wound on his upper back and left forearm. Last up for the day was a friend of Allison who shared that he had heard from others that Allison had brought a knife to school that day, but was unsure if Allison had told him this personally.
Matthew chapter 7, verse 1 through 5, and he reads, "Judge not that you be not judged, for with what judgment you judge, you shall be judged. And with what measure you met, so with what measuring that you weigh, it shall be measured to you again. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye." You see in verse 5, there's that word again, hypocrite. So there it is. We see that Caysen Allison, from the witness testimony, and they have video and they have everything. He brought a knife to school after being in an altercation with Joe Ramirez in the past. Some say that they had gotten to a fight even early on in the parking lot. And he ended up unaliving Joe Ramirez. There's videos, there's witness testimony, same thing as in the Karmelo Anthony case, whom Karmelo Anthony also took a knife, to a track meet. He wasn't the aggressor, but the aggressor came to him, but he ended up unaliving Austin Metcalf, right? And now he's facing similar charges. So now what we have here going on in America really is a trial of hypocrisy. We're going to see whether or not Karmelo Anthony is going to be the next O.J. Simpson in America, or will he just be the next Caysen Allison? Remains to be seen. We'll find out in the future. Once again, to my condolences to all the families, to the two families that lost their teenage sons at the hands of senseless violence, my condolences to you. And it's a shame that America is choosing to make this a racial issue when for you and your family, it's about the loss of your sons. And I do understand that, right? To both Caysen Allison and to Karmelo Anthony, you both had shed blood. Your hands have shed blood. And except, you repent, your blood will be shed by men as well. So I would strongly suggest that both of you ask for forgiveness for the Most High and ask him to come into your life, fill you with his Holy Spirit. Cain is the first person recorded in the Bible who, after he shed Abel's blood, he cried out to the Most High. And the Most High set a mark on Cain, and Cain was the first one who ever cried out for mercy. And the Most High showed mercy, set that mark on him, and so that nobody could kill Cain, right? So this is what the both of you need to understand, and this is what the both of you need to be praying. With that being said, you know what? Us being Israelites in America, this is why we need to get out of here. It's time. You see what I'm saying? We need to pray and ask for the Father to deliver us. You know what I'm saying? We've been up underneath our oppressors. The law doesn't work both ways for both sets of people. And that's just the truth. Once again, thank y'all for watching. Y'all have a blessed and wonderful day. Till we meet again. Shalom.